Today we're going to be breaking down a 34 kill duos win that my teammate and I had here on Urzikstan BR. Now throughout this I'm going to be giving you tips and strategies that will allow you and your squad to start to get more kills and have more success. That's my whole goal, is just to help you improve, get more kills, die a little less, and pick up more wins. So if you are looking to get better over the next year, make sure you are subscribed down below. Now starting off right here, let's talk about early game. One of the biggest things with BR, especially with Urzikstan this year, is getting momentum early. So we start every single game with a scavenger contract. Now the one thing that I will say is we're kind of looking around here. We don't want it to be too contested. So we're kind of looking for an area that has a scavenger contract and a buy station, and maybe even a second or third scavenger that we can pivot to if it is a hot drop. There are times that you'll have 2 or 3 teams landing in. You don't necessarily want to fight for it. It's a little bit risky early game, and if you burn your gulag too early, it can really hurt you later on. Now when we talk about momentum early, we're just looking to get loadout. I mean, I dropped 22 kills this game, and the breakdown of how my kills looked, I went back and really looked at each circle. It was 2 in the first circle, 4 in the second circle, 4 in the third circle, 4 in the fourth circle, at which point gulag closes, and then it was 8 during endgame. So it's important to understand that this early game isn't really that crucial when it comes to dropping higher kill games, whether it's for you or you and your squad. So we're going to go ahead, let's go ahead and push this forward to where we actually complete the contract. Now, one thing that I do want to highlight here as we're going to finish this is right about here. What do you notice? We have a buy station up here and we have a buy station back here. So no matter which way this scavenger contract pulled, we would have been okay to hit a buy station, at which point we can get loadout. We also saw the portable buy station right there in the back of the truck that we could use. Make sure you're paying attention to those, especially early game, because you never know when you can use them. So right here, we're going to go ahead and push this forward until we get this loadout down, and we actually end up having enough cash to pop a UAV as well. On Urzikstan, when it comes to getting kills and dropping higher kill games, information is one of the most important things. I mean, this is the same no matter what game mode you are playing. Whether it's a UAV, of course, portable radars are absolutely meta right now because of how big that radius is. I think it's a 76-meter diameter or something, and it gives you a big pulse. And then, of course, we have things like high alert and weapon pings that we're going to be using throughout. Now, as soon as Tacos takes out this counter UAV, we're going to pop this UAV. Really smart play by him to say, hey, I don't want to pop this just yet. Let's make sure we get as much information as possible. Now, when we pop this UAV, we need to take note of as much information. In this case, we are playing duos, so we have a solo player straight ahead of us that is down below, and we have 2 players on our left side that are kind of rotating in. So what you're going to see here is we're going to go ahead and focus on this solo player first. But on top of that, watch this right here. UAVs ping every 2 to 3 seconds, and you want to be checking every 2 to 3 seconds because we just barely get a glimpse of this guy right here, right? So now all of a sudden we have a team of 2 to our left and a team of 2 straight ahead, but these players are split. So this is still kind of a 2v1 situation. We are going to be stacking a lot of the time, right? Playing close together. So we're going to go ahead. We know he's down below. One thing I do want to mention is map knowledge. We'll talk about that throughout, just starting to learn the buildings and learn, you know, how to get to rooftops and things like that. It's definitely something that slowed our pace down a little bit, but keep in mind here, after we get this kill, there is a team that was rotating up to us. So now let's go ahead and immediately figure out what we can find right here. Now let's talk about winning gunfights. We're able to easily take that guy out. As I go to shoot this guy, in this moment, like, I'm broken, he's broken, I'm just going to go keep the pressure on and have confidence in my ability to execute here. Slide cancel around the corner. We're able to get that wipe. But just keep in mind, remember that one ping that I highlighted, that one ping that was on the minimap for a split second. I calmed the Tacos here. Hey, I think there's another guy around. So he actually ends up throwing a portable radar, and sure enough, we're going to see him on the radar straight ahead here. Straight ahead, he's above us, not 100% sure. Tacos gets caught out in the open. Now, that's not the end-all, be-all. It's a little bit unfortunate. I'm going to go ahead and get the down on the rooftop. So let's go ahead and push over, see if we can get the revive. The other thing that I will say, especially as a squad, pay attention to medic vests. These might be the best vests that you can grab besides tempered. Like, tempered and medic are the 2 best because of the quick revive. I ended up chucking my smoke way too far, but with the medic vest, it's not that big of a deal. Unfortunate situation right here. We get the revive off, and then the mosquito drone actually hits him. One quick note that I want to highlight here is you can actually shoot on the ladder with your pistol. So he's going to end up getting thirsted, Tacos is, but I am able to get that kill, and that's something we can use to our advantage as we are climbing ladders. Now, in this moment right here, just one quick thing that I do want to really highlight, the regain. When we talk about dropping higher kill games and even picking up wins, the regain is crucial, and the regain comes down to two things: cash flow and pizza boxes, redeploy flares. So we want to make sure that we have redeploy flares for our teammate, but also let's make sure we have enough cash that we can buy back if needed. The other thing that I do want to highlight here is, of course, these Gulag reentry kits, or these Gulag entry kits. Make sure you're grabbing those. It just gets you an extra Gulag. Of course, there are the redeploy packs as well, which allow you to fly back in and just skip the Gulag altogether. It's just a free redeploy as if we're playing Resurgence. So we want to make sure we're paying attention to those. Now, in this case, you know, we're in a good spot. Tacos wins his Gulag. I didn't go to Gulag at all, so I don't have any Gulag to break down for you in terms of tips and strategies there. Maybe that's another video that I have for you. Real quick, by the way, as I mentioned earlier, if you are looking to get better over the next year, make sure you are subscribed down below. My whole goal is just to help you improve, and let's go ahead and keep going. Now, what do we notice right here? I said earlier, act on information. We've got a flare, right? So we have a buyback this way. Now, the one thing I do want to really kind of highlight here in this moment is look at where the rotation would be. I want to talk a little bit more about rotations and positioning later on. We'll probably do a full video for you as well. But that rotation, if I go push that buyback, is out of circle, which is kind of not where we want to be. So we're going to go ahead and use the redeploy balloon here, which are incredible to use to actually push over to our right side. Right about there is when I go, I don't really know if I want to push that direction. So let's go ahead and work our way over this way. We're going to go towards a buy station. The other thing Taco said is, hey, there's people on our loadout. And right here, we see the weapon pings from somebody shooting an unsuppressed weapon. So now at this point, it's kind of like, hey, let's go act on that over this way. We're going to go ahead and push to our right side here. And we're kind of in between. Do we want to go to the buy station? Do we want to go push that? And then we go, okay, let's go push this team over to our right side. Now, Tacos ends up catching one down below. So we're going to go ahead and push this together. This is map knowledge, guys, just me not knowing the map yet. What you're going to see is as I push down below, like none of these have a cut through. They're all just kind of little cubbies. So Tacos is able to easily get that kill. Now, that's not the same guy that we saw that was on our loadout. So that's where we remember information and we know that we need to go ahead and push this guy. Once again, you're unfortunately going to see the map knowledge dynamic here. I push into the building. I push up the stairs, trying to figure out where I want to go, trying to get to the rooftop here. We go up the stairs. Then I'm like, okay, well, this isn't to the rooftop, and I didn't even think about going through that door right to my right side here. Now, what's going to end up happening? Tacos goes down. We're just going to pinch this player angles here, and I'm able to easily cover for him and get the wipe. So let's go ahead and get the revive off here, and let's talk about our next play. 10 grand, or I guess we have 13-8 as a team here. 4 kills early. Like I said, this is where we start to get that momentum, and we're looking to just keep that momentum as much as possible heading through this mid-game and end game. Trying to, you know, have loadout as much as possible, making sure we're not ending up in the blender, and of course from there getting information and pushing teams. Now, when we talk about information, guys, little things like this. Remember, COD is a very stationary game. There's not a lot of movement. It's not Battlefield where buildings are falling down. So when I see a little bit of movement right here where my cursor is, I'm going to put a magnifying glass on it for you. See that little bit of movement? That's all I need to know that somebody is over here. So we're going to end up pushing up this direction. Of course, we see the buyback right here, so we know it's just a solo player. And depending on the game mode, right? I guess the one thing you keep in mind with the buyback is they are man down technically. Like if you're, in this case, it's a 2v1 situation. We've just got to figure out where this enemy is. Now, what do we do from this moment? He doesn't know that we are here just yet. So we're actually going to pop a quick UAV, at which point that gives us the information he's above us to the right side. We tag right there. We're going to go and hit the jump spot, center around the corner. That's a very easy kill. Immediately working to this other enemy, right? We have a UAV for 30 seconds. I'm not going to spend too much time looting because I have ammo, I have plates, I have cash, I have everything that I need. I want to keep the pressure on as much as possible while I have this UAV, while the UAV is telling me where this enemy is moving to. He's on my level, inside that way, laying prone. Pretty easy kill right there for number 6. Now let's talk about positioning and rotations right here. Notice which way zone pulled. So when you see this zone pull, you kind of don't want to keep pushing out, right? So we're going to kind of see what we can find over this way. That was an enemy flying in. We, of course, have somebody taking the redeploy balloon, trying to fry these guys out of the air as much as possible. Tough bullet velocity here with the Bass B. Bass B did get nerfed, but still a great option. So now in this moment, what do? Right? it's very tempting to want to go push this because that's the information that we have. And you can kind of see us start to go that way. And then I get high alerted and then I see the sniper. And then we really look at our circle rotation and we're kind of like, what are we doing here? Like, why are we pushing this direction? There's really no need to. So let's go ahead and just push back. Right? Let's go ahead and just push back this way. See what we can find over here. We knew there was somebody from the buyback. You kind of see the buyback flare again. So now we're just trying to find where this enemy is. We're not 100% sure, but we know that he's around here. There's people that are rotating in, and we still have a pretty far rotation. Now we saw him kind of jump above us, so we're just, again, nap knowledge here, guys. Like, I don't know how to get to the rooftop just yet. These are all things that we will learn over the next few weeks of playing Urzikstan. Now, Tacos is going to be able to get that kill here in a second. This guy's going to be on the rooftop right there. Really good angle for him to challenge, but there's Tacos with the down and thirst. Now, in this moment, we're in a really good spot. I mean, 15 Gs, Tacos is going to pop UAV, and what do you notice? A lot of people have to rotate into us. This is where we start to talk about rotations and positioning. When we talk about rotations and positioning is, of course, going to be, you know, we want to get high ground, we want to get cover, we want to be in a good range for our primary, but information-wise, that allows us to figure out that we're in a good spot. Of course, the other thing is always keep in mind your cover. When you are rotating, keep in mind your cover. Be very careful rotating on the edge of the gas. What you're going to see here is these guys end up being a very easy kills for us because we're on top of the rooftop. We've got our loadout guns, but more importantly, they are just rotating on the edge. Now, in terms of communication, guys, I calmed the Tacos that there's one kind of to the right side. You barely saw him fly. Look, I'm going to turn my camera off real quick. You're going to see this guy fly to the right side here in a second, and I calmed that to Tacos. So I let Tacos know, hey, you see him right here. Watch him right here. Just a little bit of movement. That's all I needed to see to say, hey, Tacos, you got one to your right side, and that's going to allow us to make a better decision. Now, I know I have one to my left here, and I have one straight ahead. There's that guy rotating out in the open. This is why you always need to keep track of your cover. You want to be using smokes on big map as much as possible, trying to figure out where this guy is. He is dead here. There's nothing this guy can do because he's caught rotating on the edge of the gas. Now, from this moment, hey, let's go ahead and get ahead. I tell Tacos in this moment, hey, I am pushing as far across as possible. You have the guy up the hill. That's on you. I've got you with a redeploy flare if something happens, but you're going to go ahead and you can take care of that guy right there. That's something you can have a little bit more confidence with as you start to improve, winning your 1v1 situations. Now, the other thing when we talk about rotations, and Tacos is really good at this, is remembering where people are potentially rotating from. So when we look over kind of straight ahead here, we've got to kind of assume based on all of these buildings and kind of what is over this direction that somebody might be rotating in. We don't have anything concrete, right? We need to keep in mind our cover here as we're rotating, using the rocks to our advantage. Tacos is pretty far behind me and I have no smokes. That is something that we are both very well aware of, right? Always communicating, hey, I'm not with you just yet. But we kind of have to assume that somebody is rotating here based on just the fact that it's not even a hot area, but there's 19 teams left, and this is just a rotation into a bunch of buildings. So what I end up hearing is I hear some glass break, at which point I can go easily challenge. There's a glass broken. We anticipate inside, and just like that, we're up to 11 kills. Now let's go ahead and push this forward right here. Buy stations get dropped throughout, so there's a buy station right there. This is not one that, actually, that might have been Tacos. I'm not 100% sure. But what do we notice? We've got great cash flow here. So we buy 2 UAVs. I buy 1. Tacos is going to pop his and then grab that precision. And we notice the hot area, right? Hot areas over this direction. Multiple pings here. It looks like probably 3 or 4 teams. But we also get a singular ping. Again, UAVs every 2 to 3 seconds. Because if you miss this ping, this is the only time this guy is on the radar right here. He's going to go ahead and actually he disappears right about now. Or actually one more ping. And then he's going to disappear on this next one. So if you miss that, that's going to put you in a tougher spot as you're rotating over to this team to the right side. This guy, once again, just rotating out in the open. There's really nothing that he can do. Immediately working forward, capitalizing on this UAV. Not even worry about looting. I'm going to go ahead and pop mine as well. At which point we can start to figure out what's going on. Now, this end game is going to get a little bit dicey here. We're going to really kind of put the pressure on some teams, but we do have to execute at the end of the day. We get put in a few tough situations. If you have made it this far, by the way, make sure you are subscribed down below. Right here, slide canceling around the corner, just making sure we're centered. Down and thirst right there. Tacos gets the second guy, and we're up to 13 kills here. Now, in this moment, what do we notice? 2 teams straight ahead, 1 team rotating into my left side, 2 teams over to my right side. Again, all information that you need to be keeping in mind. The moment you forget information like that, your rotations become, I'm not gonna say your rotations become tougher, but you might get caught rotating because you forgot there was a team somewhere, or you're gonna miss out on kill potential. Now right here, still just map knowledge, guys, trying to figure out how to get to the rooftop jump spot right there. And watch how I play this right here. So not good shots right there, missed a bunch, unfortunate. We're just playing our positioning, we're just playing our cover here, playing the head glitch of the rooftop. Now at this moment, I've got 1 on the left side cubby and 1 on the right side cubby. So what we're going to do here, and notice what I look for. I look for the team that is rotating in from this left side. Remember, I told you to remember that information. I remembered and got high alerted from this direction over here. So what do? We just got to figure out how to get kind of not even a knock. We've just got to get something, some little window that we can push on. There's the break right there, but I get broken from the guy in the right cubby. Make sure you're using these horizontal zips. I kind of spoil this here in a second, but we're going to break that guy right there, so we're going to go. We're going to put the pressure on here. We're going to jump off. We're going to get the down, and then immediately pay attention to enemy number 2. You got to think that these guys are on the same team here. Break right there. Can't quite get the down, but we're going to go ahead and get the thirst, and now we go ahead and work our way over. Now, for my Resurgence players, I do play Resurgence a lot. For my Resurgence players, keep in mind that the thirst takes them out of the fight. In Resurgence, we have to worry about them flying back in. In BR, we don't necessarily have to worry about it. Yes, there are times with things like redeploy packs and gulag reentry kits that we have to worry about it, but it's not like Resurgence where they fly in super quick. Now, a little bit unsure about where anybody is. Bunch of people around us here. Keep in mind there were 2 teams in this building. There was 1 team rotating back behind. There was a team over by the big game bounty. You know, a lot of teams around us. We're just going to start to slow this thing down a little bit and play our positioning. Once again, rotations. You see this pretty far rotation right here, and I end up going down. Thankfully, Tacos is right there with me. We're on the same page. He's going to go ahead. We're going to push down here, and let's go ahead and get the revive off. Notice he has a medic vest. Both of us have the medic vest, which allow for quicker revives. You know, it allows us to be able to get, you know, if we can get to cover, it allows us to get that revive off and then plate up, at which point we can re-engage. It's much harder for enemies to get the thirst. Now, right here, we're going to push up top, high alert in the back. I still think high alert is the best perk that you can run in that perk 4 slot. There are a lot of good options. There's that flex perk as well, which kind of reduces combat noise, which allows you to hear footsteps better. But I still think on big map with broken long-range options, we've got one-shot snipers, you want to be using high alert. Now, what do I do right here? I put myself between the enemy that shot at me and circle back behind. What does that mean? That means I can easily hold him out. Now, a lot of different information that we're working with right here. What you're going to see is I'm just waiting, enemy dropping in. So we're going to go ahead and fry this guy out of the sky, and we're able to get that knock right there, just barely right there, 15. Now, Tacos also said, hey, there's another one around you. Gives me a live ping, or gives me a ping, which is really helpful. See him pushing into the building. Notice I fleshed him. What do I mean by I fleshed him? He had no plates. I didn't get a armor tag. I didn't break him or anything like that. He has no plates, so now we're just going to go keep the pressure on. Now, as soon as I get this down in thirst, right there, we're refocusing on this enemy that is pushing back behind us. Again, remembering that information. The moment you forget that information, you get put in a little bit tougher spot. Now, in this moment right here, we probably could have just made the decision to push ahead to this building, right? Get in circle, play our high ground, play top of that big building right there, and just kind of basically hold everybody out of circle. But we're in a pretty good spot right here. We just have to keep in mind that there are people rotating in. Always live pinging enemies as much as possible. We finally get eyes on this guy over here, right about, yeah, literally right where I'm aiming. And now we're going to go ahead and rotate him. At this moment, pushing up top, trying to get to rooftop, trying to parkour as much as possible. Use your high ground, guys. Don't try not to rotate in low at all. It's just going to put you in a little bit of a tougher situation. And I hear some enemies over to my right side. So I back off this, right? I back off, expect them to push. Tacos has the broken pistols, so he's just going. These snake shot pistols are absolutely busted. And now that we have the advantage here in a 2v1 situation, I push in. There's kill number 16. There's still 8 other teams left. And Tacos immediately tells me, hey, there's another one at the end of the train. Slide canceling around the corner here, centered perfectly. At this point, we break in, we can keep the pressure on. Don't mind the Semtex toss, not a good one. Watch how we keep the pressure on here. We're not just going to full send this. Tag him there. Make sure we're not chasing. Make sure we're kind of slide canceling, centering. Ready? Slide cancel center. I don't want to get caught turning that corner, chasing him, and get caught off guard. That's when you get your camera broken, and the TTK really, really hurts you. Now, 17 kills, 6 other teams left here. We got a bunch of cash. Let's go ahead and buy a UAV, right? Going back to kind of where we started, information is going to be crucial. And what you're going to see here, as soon as we pop this UAV, that tells us actually really 2 big things that we want to focus on. Number 1 is going to be a team to our right side. Team to our right side, 1 on my level, 1 above, but watch them rotating in. Also, 1 to my left side who has to get in a zone, and everybody else is already kind of in military base in zone. So right here, we're going to shoot the back one. By ping, down, thirsty, kill number 18. We see the guy pushing into the building, can't quite get him. Now, in this moment, what do? This is a tough decision. I ended up kind of trying to hold this guy. I got very sidetracked or hyper-focused on this guy to the left side who was rotating in because I didn't think he was going to go up the hill. I thought he was going to push towards me this way and try to loop it instead of going kind of straight ahead and around. So I get caught in a little bit of a weird spot here. You know, a little bit of a weird spot. Tacos has the guy to my right side, and I'm just like waiting for this guy. And by the way, I want to shout out Tacos here. Tacos gives me a really good comm. Hey, Joe, you still have one over there. So he just confirmed what we saw on the UAV, and that's just good comms right there, because who knows, if I missed it and I was chasing the other guy and I go down right here, you know, that's a little bit of an unfortunate situation. So good job by Tacos. You guys don't hear our comms, but good job by Tacos to just confirm that with me. High alerted. We're able to kind of shimmy a little bit. We're able to get that down right there. And I do, unfortunately, end up going down to this enemy. Now, thankfully, he goes to revive his teammate. I'm going to burn myself. But look, that doesn't happen very often. The one thing I do want to highlight is that Tacos does have a redeploy flare. So if I did get thirsted here, Tacos has his redeploy flare that we can use. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat that and say that, oh, I got away. Yeah, I got away with my self-revive, guys. This guy's not a great player. He should have thirsted me. But even if that was the case, Tacos has the redeploy flare, especially for endgame. That's going to be clutch. Now, I know that there's still another enemy over this way because I did not get the wipe. So right here is going to be kill number 20. Now, in this moment, we see right there is what we want to see. So 2 other teams, we've got 1 above us on this rooftop, and what we're going to see here in a second is that we have 1 over to our right side. So at this moment, we're in a 2v1 situation just based off math. We know where the teams are. I know this team has to rotate out in the open to meet here, so we're going to go ahead and focus on them just a little bit. Now at this moment, I do flip up, and I'm like, hey, maybe we go challenge this guy above. Let's go stack this guy above us, and that's when Tacos and I notice, hey, now we're in a 2v2 situation. We know exactly where this team is. Let's go ahead. We get the live ping. We're just going to play our positioning right here. We're going to be in a really good spot to get the down and thirst right there, at which point we are in a 2v1 situation, and we can go ahead and easily clean this up. Guys, I hope you found today's video helpful as we're wrapping this up. Momentum early, act on information, really focus on that regain component, having flares, having enough cash for a buyback, you know, really put yourself in a good position for endgame where you're going to pick up a large majority of our kills. I hope you found today's video helpful. As I always say, let's get better today, and I will see you tomorrow.